Hello, I'm Brian,
I'm Heather.
and this is Wednesday Night Hop, May 2019, Technical Track Week 1 of Step-by-Step Communication. So this week we started with the Object in Space game, in which we had 5 people form a group and one person in the center and have the group sort of send the person around and across the floor and get a feel for what it feels like to move another person.
Yep, and that was done in a frictionless environment, so momentum was maintained, and we talked about gentle redirects. From there, we said, now we're going to break communication of this dance down even further. So the first thing we talked about was how do we hold our own body when we're dancing. And so we started by talking about you're either going to be on one foot or the other foot. The knee is going to be supple and bouncy, as is the hip joint. The hip joints are going to be slightly lower than level, approximately. They're not going to be super duper high and imbalanced. They're not going to be totally low and popped out. They're just going to be supple and ready to move. You have your weight not rocked back on your foot, nor is it all the way forward on the ball. And there should be some side to side in between that's happy. There's a little bit more pressure on the ball of your foot so that you can move quickly, because that's how we move in our dances. We tend to dance from the ball of our foot. But you always return to that position. Picking a foot means that you are not doing anything particularly crazy with this other foot that is in the air. You are not using a kickstand to keep yourself, because this is cheating. This is not balancing. And then, so that was the lower half of the body. Then we talked about you've got a nice corset of muscles coming from your spine around the front that will help hold your frame up. Your shoulders will be up, back, down, and then relax. Yeah, relax is really important. That's something that we're going to be talking about a whole bunch this class.
Yes. So then we talked about steps.
Yes, from there we talked about steps, just single steps. So what that means to transfer weight between your foot, transferring ball to ball, and coming back and settling, gathering back to this place of balance. So we tried moving forward, backward, all the different sides.
Different speeds, different sizes of step.
And you talked about you're arriving at that place rather than taking you the long time to get there. It's more of like a catch and collect down into that final step, as though you were dancing.
And lastly, we talked about arms. So we wanted to talk about 3 levels of frame that we can have in our arms. First is 0, which is totally relaxed.
Except for the fingers, which we are using the don't drop your cell phone analogy. You can walk with your arms totally relaxed, but you have to be bent at the first knuckle so that we can connect with our partner, or not drop your cell phone.
Yep. Then there's 1 in which we have just enough tension in our arms to hold them in a given position.
But won't support any amount of resistance.
Finally, there is 2, which is enough firmness in our arms to move or be moved.
And this is connected to the frame all the way, so if I were to push on a level 2, you have to move with that. And that's where we will pick up next week.